Another useful tip, how to properly cut a pineapple. In my opinion, there are two knives that work the best. The first is a small paring knife, as well as a serrated knife, like a bread knife. These work very well at cutting through the thick texture of the pineapple without mushing the fruit on the inside. I'm going to be showing you 3 different techniques of how you can cut a pineapple properly. The first is the famous TikTok, Instagram way of cutting the pineapple and removing one segment at a time. This is a much messier and time-consuming process, but also a great way to not waste any fruit while you're eating a pineapple. So I'm going to take my pineapple and use my paring knife, and I'm just going to score in between each fruit at the top to remove the crown. The crown is the top of the pineapple. And after we remove the crown, we can go around, and if you have a lot of time and want to remove the segments the very, very best way, you can go around and you can score under each and every fruit. But if you don't have that much time to kill, then you can see how pretty each segment it came out. So now I have a good texture right here, or a good pattern that I can cut. So like I said, if you want and you have more time, you can go around and you can pare around each and every single fruit. But without that method, you can just use your thumb and you can go around it and just pop out the fruit, just going by the base of the segment, and you can just pop it right out like this. If you try to do this with an unripe pineapple, it's going to be much more difficult. If you do have an unripe pineapple, you can start from the base, because this part typically ripens more than the top. So just go around and just pop out with your thumb, easy as can be. Very messy though, and time consuming, but you don't waste any fruit in the process, and it pops right off of the core in the center. Kind of a cool method. The easiest and fastest way to cut a pineapple, however, is to begin by removing the crown and the base of the pineapple. A cool fact about the anatomy of a pineapple is each pineapple contains between 50 and 200 separate fruits. Each of these segments is considered to be its own fruit. So fastest method here, you can just curve and go along the outside of the pineapple, and that removes the majority of these center pieces, which are called the eyes, the little pokey parts that are left. To save more fruit, a little bit more time consuming, if you just cut straight down, you'll remove the outside, but you don't remove as much of these eyes as the first method. So what you do in this case, I'll get a little bigger of a portion here. What you would do in this case now is you take your small paring knife and you go along and you remove the eyes. Now, if you look closely, you'll notice that the eyes are in a diagonal fashion. And I did pretty good to remove most of them, but you'll just go down along that line and remove the eyes by cutting a little like 45-degree angle one way and then the other way. And you can remove your eyes like so. This also makes a really pretty fruit. You'll have the diagonal cuts from all of the eyes being removed, and then you can cut it any way you want. Probably the most common way is just to cut quarter way, like so, right around the core, and then you're just left with this center core, and then you can dice your pineapple however you want. You also can cut in a ring-like fashion, like this. Pretend that we've already removed all the eyes in the exterior. But if you cut in a circle motion like this, you can remove the core either with a paring knife or with a spoon, and you can add toppings, put it in the freezer for some pineapple pops. You can grill it this way. Lots of different ways that you can cut a pineapple, and lots of different ways that are successful for different recipes. Hopefully you watched my last video where we talked about all the nutrient benefits of eating pineapple, and this encourages you to go and get yourself a pineapple and incorporate it into your weekly menu this week.